So I'm pleased to be joined with Nicole Alvarado from Faith Academy, and you are one of the recent graduates. We've seen them all around the city, probably seeing pictures on social media of everybody celebrating. So, you were actually the valedictorian at Faith Academy. Yeah. So when you found that out, when they told you that you had been chosen, what was that like for you?
Honestly, it was like a whole journey because this year has just been crazy for me, and there's just a lot of things happening with like decision makings and responsibilities that I had to take upon for school. So being valedictorian wasn't really in my mind. I knew it was coming soon because it was that time and we haven't chosen ours yet. And as it was nearing those days when my principal announced it, everybody was just chatting about who's going to be the valedictorian, and I hear my name here and there, and I don't want to get it to me. I'm not the type of person to really like think too much about myself. I'm more thinking about other people. And so and a part of me was like believing. I was like, yeah, I see myself. I'm reflecting, especially like grade 12, right? Or a lot of reflection. And I was just like, okay, if I get it, I think I will deserve it. I feel like I deserve to be a valedictorian for my school because I represent them well. I'm the type of person who likes to put myself out there. But overall, I was just like, okay, but still it was making me worried because I'm like, I don't know, right? And so I was just praying about it to God, and I was just bringing it back to God and praying and being like, Lord, I don't like this stress. I'm already stressed enough. And I was like I see this for myself, but overall, if this is your will, then let your will be done. And if I get it, then I will praise you for it. If I don't get it, I will still praise you for it, for whoever you choose to be the valedictorian of our school, because I know that the person that you choose to be up there to speak for my class, you will use them mightily and you will speak through them. And so it was just giving it all back to God. And yeah, because that's just been my year for it. Yeah.
I love that you're just talking about that, just being excited, whether it's you, obviously you wanted it, I'm sure, but like you said, being excited for whoever the Lord is going to be choosing kind of to represent this group of students that was graduating. So how did you find out in the first place? Like how did the process go? Was it the students got to vote, the teachers choose? How did that go?
So we have like a system where we first nominate a student. And so we would do it anonymously, kind of. We would write the person who we want to be valedictorian. Then we ask like 2-3 other people to tag along if they agree with what you say. Then you put that piece of paper at the door of our principal. Then after like a certain amount of time, he's going to like count up the nominees. And if a person has 2 or more nominees, or has been nominated by 2 or more people, they get a spot to be voted onto the valedictorian. And so with that, people were just nominating and stuff. And so all that stuff and all that jazz and going behind. And it was just like a lot of prayer because I'm just like, I don't know, like I'm kind of getting anxious about this. Like, let's just get this over with. And then it was like actually like a very funky process because for this year, because there's 2 nominees. Like a week went by, my principal, he told me that there's 2 of you now, but the thing is, you pretty much got 75% of your grad class voting for you. And so there's honestly no need for a vote. And so technically I was already chosen as valedictorian in the first step. And I was just like, wow, like praise the Lord. And I'm just like, so humbled and honored that like my grad class see me as that. And yeah, it was just like so surreal too, and it was just something that I also needed to hear that week because everything's just been stressful, right? And so I was just like, wow, like it was like beautiful to see that. It's always beautiful to see God working in your life, and when that answered prayer is there, like it's like you can't help but praise the Lord, So
wow.
yeah.
So that everyone just thought very highly of you, and over your time at Faith Academy, what has been like your best memory or something that now as being a graduate, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to look back and remember this fondly?
Ooh, there's like a lot. There's many like retreats and like all these fun activities that we did as a whole grade, but I think the one that would be so dear to my heart is all the relationships that I've built and the connections. The students there, they just have like a special place in my heart, and the teachers as well. Like, cause I've only started going to Faith Academy for grade 9. So Faith Academy goes from kindergarten to grade 12, right? And I've just been to public school for my whole life until grade 9, and I could tell like there's this whole change of like, I don't know, the teachers and the how you feel about them, because they not only care about your academics, but they cared about your spiritual life and your person, right? And they're willing to fully invest in you and pour their heart out. And I saw that for many of my teachers, and those teachers have become not only teachers to me, but mentors, like my lifelong mentors, godly mentors who I look up to, and like a friend. And it's just been such a blessing. Also, yeah, just like the interactions and the connections and the students, those lifelong memories and those bridges that's built, just pouring out into people's lives and seeing the fruits afterwards, especially like near the end of high school. It's just beautiful. Also seeing them grow, like I think that's like a memory that I will cherish.
Wow. And I mean, you've definitely been very like showing your faith, and just like even just us chatting these last few minutes. But how has going to Faith Academy, maybe even like you said, making that transition from public school to the Christian school, like how has this really just shaped your faith? How have you seen God move in your life even just these last 4 years?
Yeah. Wow. It's just like, oh my. Yeah, like going into grade 9, right? There's also COVID, so it was just like a rough time for me, and just my life in general with like outside of school. It was just, kind of rough those times, but and I was just also new to faith as well, because I got baptized the summer before when I went to grade 8. And so I was pretty new to the faith. And of course, you could say that I was at a spiritual high, and then things kind of went down near the end of grade 8, going into grade 9. But the moment I went into Faith Academy and I saw this whole completely different environment, and just how I see people interacting, like the older kids interacting with the younger kids, like you don't see that in public school, because usually you'd have like, they hate each other or something. And then seeing the teachers, like I'm a pretty like reserved person, and I don't really show much emotions to people unless it's needed. Like, I don't know, I'm like,
just keep to yourself more. So
I have like that balance. Like I know when to show it, and I can tell when like people are kind of being genuine and stuff. But yeah, I really saw the heart of the teachers, and from then, like they helped me and guide me in my faith a lot. And that's when I told myself and told God, I was like, I want to, really commit to this faith. And so from then on, and then being part of like the leadership teams and the missions team at my school, that really helped me grow, and I stepped out of my comfort zones. Of course, there was things like struggles along the way, but with that, I learned to give that up to God as well, and know that He's forming me and sanctifying me to be the person that He wants me to be as I continue to step to follow Him. And it was never an easy journey, but like the faith journey is beautiful too, right? You see God working, and you see that through your weakness, God is so strong, and that He, no matter how weak you are, He's still going to use you in mighty ways. And I've seen that throughout, especially as if you surrender, right? This year I've learned to surrender a lot to God, and you just see a lot of fruit and see God working. Not you, but you see God, and you just glorify Him. So, yeah.
Has there been a Bible verse that's really like been pivotal in your faith journey?
I would say Proverbs 3 verse
5 and 6.
Yeah. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. And acknowledging is like surrendering, right? And you can't be half and half, but you got to surrender. And that's when you really will see God working. And you just got to trust him. That's where faith comes, right? Faith is about trusting God. And it's hard to trust because you're just relying on this one, right? And and it's just beautiful.
And so as far as, being a graduate now, what's next for Nicole? Like, what are your plans for next year? I'm sure you love being asked that question.
Yeah, I've heard it many times. Well, after summer, I will be going to U of M, and I will be pursuing architecture. From there, also there is a little idea or a suggestion for me that I might go into business as well. I like to also end it off with Lord willing, and if the Lord wills, whatever he wants to direct me in my life. But this summer I usually work at a summer camp, but this time I'm just going to take a break, especially transitioning into university, and it's just been crazy this past month. But still, I'm helping serve at my church, and then I'm also going to go on a missionary trip with my church at LA this summer, and so I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. So big things in store,
Yes.
seeing where God's going to lead you just in your future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing.
Thank you for having me.